There's a structure rising in the countryside that doesn't belong to any century we know. It's not quite a barn, not quite a home, not quite a greenhouse, and certainly not quite ordinary. What happens when you fuse the industrial soul of agricultural architecture with the warmth of human habitation and the breathtaking transparency of botanical sanctuaries? You get something that shouldn't work. Something that defies every rule we've been taught about where we're supposed to live. And yet, it works so beautifully, it makes you question why we ever built boxes in the first place. The greenhouse fusion barndominium. Even the name feels like a contradiction, doesn't it? Like someone took three different dreams and welded them together with pure audacity. But that's exactly what makes it extraordinary. Because somewhere between the corrugated metal panels of a working barn, the soaring glass walls of a conservatory, and the cozy intimacy of a home, there exists a space that breathes. Literally, this isn't just architecture. This is a living, photosynthesizing embrace of everything we forgot when we started sealing ourselves into climate-controlled caves. Imagine waking up not to drywall and darkness, but to morning light filtering through leaves that grow inside your actual walls. Imagine cooking dinner while condensation forms delicate patterns on glass panels 10 feet above your head, the sky shifting from blue to pink to indigo as your pasta water boils. Imagine a winter evening where snow falls outside, but you're surrounded by greenery, by growth, by the defiant optimism of plants that refuse to acknowledge the season. This is what happens when someone looked at traditional living and asked the most dangerous question in design: why not? Don't forget to hit that subscribe button because it's a simple way to show your love for these incredible designs. Let's talk about the barn part first, because that's where the rebellion begins. Barndominiums exploded into the architectural consciousness because they rejected the suburban cookie-cutter formula. They said, what if we took these massive, honest structures built for tractors and hay bales and honest work and turned them into spaces for humans? The high ceilings, the open floor plans, the raw materials that don't pretend to be anything they're not, metal and wood and concrete that wear their purpose proudly. But traditional barndominiums have a problem. They can feel dark, industrial, like you're living inside a very comfortable warehouse, which, well, you kind of are. The windows are often small, practical, functional. They let in light the way a prison lets in visitors. Reluctantly, and through very specific channels, enter the greenhouse fusion. The moment of transformation. The yes, and of architectural evolution. What if those walls didn't have to be opaque? What if instead of puncturing metal siding with windows, we made entire sections of the structure transparent? Not just glass windows, glass walls, glass ceilings, entire architectural limbs made of crystalline possibility. Suddenly, that cavernous barn interior doesn't feel industrial anymore. It feels celestial. The volume remains. The drama of those soaring spaces stays intact, but now they're flooded with light. Now they're permeable. Now they're in conversation with the outside world instead of defending against it. And this is where it gets emotional, where it stops being about square footage and starts being about what it feels like to be human in a space. Because we need light. We crave it. We wilt without it like any other living thing. Seasonal affective disorder, vitamin D deficiency, the modern epidemic of spending our lives under fluorescent tubes in windowless offices. These are symptoms of architectural exile from the sun. The greenhouse fusion barndominium is a repatriation. Now let's talk about the greenhouse element, because this is where functionality becomes poetry. A traditional greenhouse is a supporting structure for life that isn't your own. It's a sanctuary for tomatoes, for orchids, for things that need more warmth or humidity or protection than the local climate provides. It's a microclimate, a negotiation with nature, a glass promise that says, inside here, different rules apply. When you fuse that concept into a barndominium, You're not just adding a sunroom. You're not bolting a conservatory onto the side like an architectural afterthought. You're integrating the very philosophy of the greenhouse into the DNA of your living space. You're saying that your home should be capable of sustaining life beyond just human metabolism, that your architecture should participate in photosynthesis, that the line between inside and outside should be blurred so thoroughly it becomes almost meaningless. Picture this. Your kitchen flows directly into a growing space where herbs cascade from vertical gardens, not in pots on a windowsill, not as a decorative gesture, but as an actual integrated food production system that happens to be beautiful. Basil and thyme and rosemary filling the air with scent, pulling carbon dioxide from your breathing and returning oxygen, existing in this gorgeous symbiotic relationship with your daily life. Or imagine a bathroom where one entire wall is devoted to tropical plants that thrive in humidity. Your shower creates the perfect environment for ferns and philodendrons. Every time you bathe, you're also creating the exact conditions your green companions need to flourish. You're not fighting against your building systems. You're working with them. The moisture in the air isn't a problem to be vented away. It's a resource, a gift. This is architecture as ecosystem. But let's be honest about the challenges, because the greenhouse fusion barndominium demands something from you. It demands thoughtfulness. Traditional homes let you be passive. You set the thermostat, you close the blinds, you control every variable until your environment is as predictable as a spreadsheet. The greenhouse fusion doesn't let you do that. It insists you pay attention. Temperature regulation becomes an art form. Those gorgeous glass walls that flood your space with light, they also create intense solar gain in summer. They can turn sections of your home into saunas if you're not strategic. You need to think about ventilation, about thermal mass, about automated shading systems, or carefully positioned deciduous trees that provide shade in summer but let light through in winter. You need to understand passive solar design not as a trendy buzzword, but as the fundamental principle governing your comfort. And the plants. Oh, the plants demand their due. They need the right light, the right water, the right temperature ranges. You can't just install a greenhouse space and forget about it. It's a relationship, a commitment. You're entering into a pact with living things that will hold you accountable. Let the watering slide. Ignore the ventilation on a hot day, and your botanical companions will let you know. Dramatically, but here's the thing about these challenges. They reconnect you. They pull you out of the disconnected, thermostat-adjusted, climate-controlled bubble where it could be any season, any time, any weather, and you'd never know because you've sealed yourself so thoroughly away from it all. The greenhouse fusion barndominium forces you to notice, to observe, to participate in the daily and seasonal rhythms that our ancestors navigated by necessity, but that we've somehow convinced ourselves we've evolved beyond. If you love this type of look, hit that subscribe button to help us create more videos. You become attuned to sun angles, to weather patterns, to the subtle shifts in light quality that mark the progression of seasons. You start to care about things like dew point and relative humidity not because you're a meteorologist, but because they directly affect how your space functions and how your plants perform. You develop intuition. You learn to read your environment. You remember that you're not separate from nature, not a consciousness floating in a climate-controlled void, but an organism living inside other systems, dependent on them, affected by them, part of them. The design possibilities are intoxicating. Some greenhouse fusion barndominiums go subtle. A traditional metal barn exterior with 1 or 2 walls replaced by glass, creating these stunning transparent moments where the building seems to open like a secret being revealed. Maybe it's the south-facing wall, maximizing passive solar gain and views. Maybe it's the eastern wall, ensuring that first morning light pours into your bedroom like liquid gold. Others go bold, almost aggressive in their transparency. glass roofs over major living areas, creating spaces where you can lie in bed and watch storms roll in, where snow accumulates on transparent panels above you while you're warm and dry beneath, where the night sky isn't something you have to go outside to see, but something that's always present, always visible, always reminding you that you're spinning through space on a planet with no roof. Some designs create distinct zones, private bedroom spaces that are traditional and enclosed, paired with public living areas that are dramatically transparent and green. The contrast becomes part of the experience. You retreat into cocoon-like privacy when you need it, then emerge into these soaring, light-filled, plant-rich spaces that feel simultaneously interior and exterior. And guests? They lose their minds. There's something about entering a greenhouse fusion barndominium that breaks people's expectations so completely that they can't maintain their usual social facades. They gasp. They stop. They look up and around,